So one of the things the universe did was it downloaded this powerhouse mystical truth. You are the ones that create your reality. You. The nuclear power you have is the power of your soul, not your mind. Your ego is the destructive power in you. Your soul is the part of you that was born knowing that you can make any choice you want. As you are able to evolve beyond hatred. You are able to become an instrument that sees the futility of destruction. That's our way out of this, is to become a species that realizes destruction is absolutely, we can't do it. But this is the age of holism, which means this time everybody's in it. That's the shadow side of holism. This time we're all in it. So this time we're getting conflicts and crises that involve the whole, pandemics, climate change. We are getting the signals everywhere. We're all in this together. There is no place we can live. Not Alaska, not Montana, no place that is going to be free from the consequences. This time it's holism. And the shadow side of holism, which is you're all in it together, so don't go thinking any of you is the exception to the rule. Either you all change or you all suffer, and that's the truth. Oh, you're so negative. Oh, stop it. Put this in your gut. And you know by how you treat your body, this is our new theology. There is no off-planet God that's going to come rescue us. The emerging theology is a bio-spiritual ecology theology. That we get that God is law, that every choice I make has a consequence, and every choice I make is contributing to the healing of the whole or it isn't. And I know that because how it contributes to my micro-earth is contributing to my macro-earth. So I have an immediate result. I have an immediate consequence. Every act of forgiveness contributes to the whole of the planet. Every act of violence, every violent thought contributes to the violent. We have so much power, and that's what you're going to leave here knowing. Whether or not you turn on that inner switch and decide, that's it, I'm transforming now. I'm transforming now. Whether you turn on that inner switch is up to you. But it's going to take a lot of prayer, so let's start. You're first. No, I'm going to do it this way. 3 levels, so you get the journey. Here's the overall map. And a way to over is that you're going through 3 levels of power. The first is lead, then think laboratory, then think gold. So the lead is your first, second, and third chakras, first, second, and third mansions, first, second, and third. This is your war zone. This is where you're going to do a lot of work. One way to think of the world beneath your waist is this is your collective territory. This is toilet water, TW for short. This is cologne, and this is perfume. It is the exact same essence, diluted to different degrees. Okay? Cologne, toilet water consciousness means that we need a lot to go a small distance. So this is the slowest moving consciousness. This is tribal consciousness. We all begin here. We all begin here. And the wonder of knowing all this, it's so exciting to know this, right? Because we're all in this boat. It's so wondrous to know this. This is how the universe set up our organic journey. I'm just so in awe of this. So we can experience the power of something, but we experience it as a whole. So it's almost like looking at someone, how are you doing with this thought? You know what I mean? How are you doing with this thought? Because the power of creation is so incredible that we have to start out creating as a tribe. That's what's so we start out creating as a tribe. Very few souls come in with the power of a Mozart. Right? We start out, or a Buddha, or Bodhisattva. We start creating as a tribe. And all of you, who would say, well, I was an orphan. I feel like I was a orphan child. I just didn't fit into my tribe. Well, bravo. Because maybe you realize that from the get-go, you weren't fully absorbed into tribal thought. That from the get-go, if you could understand the universe from an impersonal, from the journey of your life, you'd see that your angel was saying, all right, now look, in this lifetime, you're going to be assigned as an outsider for your own good, so that your journey of breaking away won't be that bloody difficult. So don't bitch when you get down there. And get over it. And archetypally, someone's going to have to kick you out. Are you going to remember this? I will. All right? This area, the sacraments, the rituals, everything is tribal. Everything. And everything about it is about the management or the coordination of tribal power, collective power, because it's too, if it were in its perfume form, it would electrocute the individual. Now, as an aside, when individuals, if you read the scripture, any scripture, have a direct experience with some angelic being or some prophet in the Old Testament, whatever, they are always what? Blinded by the light. And they have to adjust their sights. They have to be calibrated because they can't take it directly. So there was a period of time. Saul, when he's knocked off his horse on his way to Damascus, is blinded for 3 days. The children at Fatima, at Lourdes, they're all blinded by the light until they're adjusted. People who have near-death experiences, blinded by the light until they're adjusted. Okay? So there's levels. There's levels. We cannot perceive that light, but what is your soul? It is this light. What is your aura? That light. Your aura is this light here. This is your soul. This is your soul. When if I walked up, someone wasn't looking, you would feel me in your energy field. Not your soul, but your energy. You know how you'd feel me in your soul? If I lied to you. This is the difference. This is the difference. Get it through your head. I can walk up to you, and you go like this. You'll feel my electricity. But if I want in your soul, I have to lie to you. Or I have to do something profoundly impactful that'll stick with you. I give you counsel. I give you a word of truth that goes, that's it. That's what I need to know. Now I'm in your soul. I've gotten to your soul. That's the difference between being in your energy and being in your soul. I require a different lock to get into your soul. This is energy. This is soul. This is grace, yeah. I'm sorry, but I have to ask for a microphone. Forgive me, but I need to do that. Right up here, hon. Whoa.
What is that? Can you hear me now? Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
So what is that that feeling? What is that when someone lies to you? What does that do to your soul?
Wounds it deeply. Wounds it. Why? Because our soul is a truth vessel.
Does that get trapped? Does that get trapped in you?
Okay.
When we absorb that with that energy?
No. From now on, here's a rule. I make up rules. When you ask me a question, you use the I. When I am lied to, go ahead. Go ahead. Because you're not talking about me, so you can't say when you. Go ahead.
Sure. For me, because I'm ultra sensitive, and I feel like most of us here are probably highly sensitive.
Every human is.
Yes, on a scale, to a degree, I feel. But when I receive that lie, and it wounds me, I feel it, I carry that. It's not our lie. It's not my lie. It's a lie that I'm receiving from another individual that's wounding me. How I know that I'm absorbing. I'm absorbing it. How do I get rid of that? How do I release that?
It's up to you. Whoa. First, I'm not sure you want to, so it's up to you. But one way, honestly, you've got to make a decision about what battlefield you want to die on. And one way to deal with a lie is to go up to someone and say, I know you just lied to me. So I don't know what you want to do with it, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it, which is I no longer see you the same way. That's the consequence of lying to me. And walk away. Why sit around and hurt? What are you doing that to yourself for?
Maybe it's the victim archetype.
Bingo! And you have to have a talk with your victim.
Yeah.
You could decide, I think I'm going to sit here and be hurt and hemorrhage. Who cares? Who cares? Whereas you could turn around and say, you know what this is? I'm going to go, you've just lied to me. There's a consequence to that. We're going to change the rules. I don't deal with liars. This is how I deal with it. Beth will tell you that. This is how I do it. Because I don't lie to people. And Beth will tell you that. We've been friends for 30 years. You lie to me, it's over. Bingo! And I'm direct. You think I'm direct? No, seriously, I'm as direct with myself. I am ruthless with myself. Ruthless. Because I know my soul will vomit. I will vomit. I will vomit. So I can't take it. So don't you, if you think something, and you also have to say, who have I lied to? Who have I lied to? When have I let myself lie? Before you go and beat someone else up, ask yourself, when have I lied? And when have I let myself off the hook for lying? Have a good talk with yourself before you go beat someone else up. You up for that?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So your first column, this is the place where you're going to do that kind of battle. And you are really going to do that kind of battle. And you are just so full of garbage in that column. Because you will come up with every excuse in the world for why you are. And it's also in this column where this is the column of fault finding. Look at that. And it's religion. So this is the column of your superstitions. The way you think God is. the way you want God to be, the way you think. Like I even saw a waiter on this trip. I've been gone on the road now 8 days or 9 days or something. Throw salt over his shoulders in some restaurant, right? You know, because of I don't know. He thought some spirit was behind him. I have no idea. But I mean, this is that world. This is that world. But this is also the world of religious wars. This is the world where you will go to war over your calendar. No, God was born on December 25th, I'm telling you. Or this is that nonsense. You want that kind of thing, you go right ahead and have it, but don't you dare tell someone else it's the truth. It's the truth for you, but it's not a truth. It's not a cosmic truth. So you come over here and you realize that something profound happens when souls of the magnitude of Gautama Siddhartha or Jesus come to this earth. It is a changing point. Yes, it is. It's also a changing point that we're living now where we are entering a galactic era. We are entering an era where we will acknowledge that we are not the only ones in the universe, that there's life on other planets, that our planet has been in touch with beings from other planets, that we finally are getting over ourselves and our massive egocentric ways. If we could decide that we won't kill them. And that in the discovery, in the acknowledgement of a larger galactic community of beings, what that does, like Galileo and Copernicus, is that it dismantles the earth-centric God. And that's a big deal. We can no longer have the God of the Abrahamic religions, a God that looks like us and adheres to earth laws and the earth court system, and that actually behaves according to earth real estate promises and earth behavior and earth and promised land and chosen people and the belief that you could go on a crusade for this God and that God. All of that is going to come down. And in its place will be the mystical teachings of these beautiful traditions. The mystical truths up here. The mystical. Not the tribal warfare, but the beautiful mystical truths of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism. The mystical truths. And those truths will unite the planet. And in that you'll see that they are all about law, light, and love. And at that level, you can't tell the difference. You cannot tell the difference. That's where we're headed. Now, all right, first chakra. And as I describe this, you know where you're hemorrhaging. You know where you have battles, okay? Do me a favor and identify places where it's a struggle for you. I'm going to start with this. In your first power center, and that's what we'll call it. Your first power center, your first mansion, your first. This is your rooted area. As a chakra, this is your tribal center. So if I was doing a reading on you, this is the area, just think of it logically. This is the area that's animated first through age 7 when you arrive on Earth. So this is when there is a spiritual teaching, and I actually think there's some truth to it, that when you're delivered, just because, and I say this because you're escorted off the earth. So I believe you're escorted on the earth. And that when you're escorted, this is talked about in the Navajo, the Hopi tradition, not all, but some, and certainly within the ancient Catholic tradition, Christian, I should say, that the angels deliver you to the parents, and that the angels are your primary guardians until you are 7 years old, the age of reason. Now, the age of reason is collectively across the board identified as the age of reason. That is an archetypal fact, that somehow something happens to you when you're 7 years old at the age of reason, which is when you hit the second zone. So the first zone, again, mathematics, Pythagoras. But the first 7 years, your reason's not engaged. Not at all. So your angels are assigned to compensate, to be there. And oftentimes children will see their guardians. It's not unusual for children to see their invisible guardians at that age. They see right through that veil because they're not told that that's not there. Of course they could see their guardians. Of course they can. And it's that during that age that in fact you absorb. You're like a little bitty sponge. Human beings are like little bitty sponges, and they absorb their sensory system. That's why it's so funny. They think, well, they don't know that. They don't understand that. Your sensory system is up and running at 360 degrees. You are just absorbing like a sponge. You are hyper psychically absorbing. It's just downloading. The psychic field is just, and all that kind of what's called natural knowledge. The knowledge of where you came from, your conscience, your intuitive wiring, all the wiring that eventually will wake up when you're 7 years old and starts turning on. The wiring you can't afford to have on at that infancy. You can't have your intuition wired at that age. It's like you can't have certain intelligence wired at that age because you can't respond to it. So it's like the wiring that is slowly and eventually put into place. So now, I can't prove this. I can't prove it. But I've been teaching energy anatomy for a long time now. And I've been working with health in the world of your energetic anatomical system and doing readings for, 35 years. And it's been my experience that people come to me when they are not well. And they want to know what the energetic component is and what choices they're making and what they've done to hemorrhage, right? But they never pay attention to that when they're well. They never, ever, ever, ever practice energetic anatomical laws outside of their health, as if it doesn't matter what choices they make. As soon as they're healthy, boom, they go right back to the five sensory world. They go right back to this world. Right back to this world. And they're out of this world. And they return to this world as soon as they're hemorrhaging and their cells are depleted and they have an illness. And they think that shifting to the energetic world is going to bail them out, when in fact this is where they live full time. It doesn't work, people. Doesn't work. Nope, can't do that. And you think that, because you eat vegetables, it compensates for not living here full time, or at least as much as you can. Right? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. This you have to start getting that your interior requires a level of consciousness. And one of the truths is that when we arrive, we have to acknowledge that we will care for a human being. So the ritual of baptism, or the ritual of some kind of holy ritual, just like there's a ritual of release, whether it's the last rites or a potlatch dinner with the Native American community, some kind of holy release, some kind of holy acknowledgement. We will take responsibility for the soul of this human being as well as the body. We will take responsibility for the consciousness. Now, I cannot in any way prove this, but my sense is that because we don't acknowledge our energetic anatomical system, we don't do any research there. We don't do any kind of we are legitimizing it. And as a result, we aren't connecting the dot that there's been an incredible increase in energetic disorders of this world, disorders of consciousness, where because our relationship to time and space is shifting, I have to draw it out because it's hard. Oops, never mind. This is the only way I can explain it. And it's poor, but it's my best. This is Chronos time, which is the time on your clock, hour by hour by hour. This is Kairos. Okay? This is instant time. This is the way Jesus healed. This is what Buddha meant by enlightenment. Okay? This is timelessness. When I talk to you about when philosophers or whoever talks about being in the present, they're talking about this. The speed at which Jesus healed was this: light to matter. We're on this journey of changing our relationship to the speed at which we experience energy to matter. The speed at which we actually convert light to matter. Light to matter. I'm convinced one of the reasons people don't heal instantly is they can't handle the speed zone. They can't handle it. They can't handle their life changing at this speed. They can't handle it, okay? But in the collective, this consciousness is shifting because of collective thoughts we now share. Like, we create our own reality. We are researching energy technology. We are getting that energy is full of data. We are getting that. We haven't, that's middle column. We haven't gotten to the point where we collectively agree that energy is soul data. We haven't gotten there yet. That it's actually sacred data. That it's actually an internet instead of an internet. We haven't gotten there yet. But we will eventually get there. But as we're doing this, our neurology, our physical body has always had to adapt to the consciousness level that we're on. There was a time when we couldn't see pastel colors. And then eventually we adapted, and then we developed paints that reflected the colors we could see. Eventually expanded our realm of colors and the delicateness of the color spectrum. Now we're beginning to perceive the ultra spectrum that we couldn't perceive before. Are you with me here? In that same way, our neurology is picking up energetic currents that I think our biology can't absorb. We have to develop the wiring. We have to adapt. I think because those currents are so high voltage, the brain goes like this. and a human being can't articulate it. Too much light. It's exactly like the mystical experience where they have to adapt and then go to column 1 before they can communicate. They have to adapt before they can communicate. We have to adapt our neurological system in order to absorb the light from the light spectrums. And I think that the more these spectrums open up, the more we will be able to access multi-dimensional space, and the more we will be able to access a very different relationship to time and space. I think it's time for a break. Okay. Okay? Are you with me?